Hey, hello guys, what's up? How you doing? How have you been? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be building a mini web application, and we're going to be looking at a file upload preview app. So it's just a mini web application with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Without wasting much of your time, let's look at a preview of what we are actually about to build. Okay, so here is a quick look at our mini app. And before we continue, I just want to say this video is more or less a continuation of one I did the last week, and in which you look at how to style up file upload buttons, and we'll be making use of some of the styles in this particular video, and the link will be in the description below in case you haven't checked it out. But even if you haven't, you can still follow this along, as don't worry, I'm pretty sure you're going to get it. Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, now we can see we have a preview, an image preview right here. And we have some information like, okay, the name of the file, cute photos of cat cuddling. That's so nice, that's so cute. Okay, and we also have the file size right here. Okay, what if we decide to change the file, the image file? Okay, and then let's see, we have another cute looking cat here. We saw that got updated. Yeah, and then what if we decide to change it? I have a meme of our DJ right here. Okay, that still works fine. That works fine. But what if we actually want to upload or open up a file that isn't an image file? What happens? Maybe a video, maybe a file, maybe an HTML file, or any type of file with different extension, different from image. What if we do that? Let's see. I think I have a SRT, a subtitle file here for demo of Eternals. Okay, let's see. It gives us a file placeholder, and then we can still see the details right here, the name with the extension, and also we can see the file size here. So this pretty much work, and I can also click on this clear to clear everything. Okay, that works, and it results to this default placeholder, and then we can also upload, and then that works. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's dive into the codes. Okay, so I'm here in Visual Studio Code, and I've basically, just to speed things up, created some files, the template for HTML, and okay, our CSS file, and also our JavaScript file. So let me quickly link that up, and then okay, and I'm also going to paste in the link for Font Awesome, the CDN link. Okay, I think that's that on that. And also let me link in the script file right here, and then another thing you could also see is we have an images folder, and we have two images. The first one is placeholder file.png, and the second one is placeholder image.png. All right, so let's put in our HTML, write our HTML tags before starting our live server. So the first thing is I want to put everything inside a div with the class of app, and then we are going to have three sections basically. Now the first section is going to be the heading, and then we're going to have the second one, which is going to be the preview, and then the third one, which is going to be the button section. So basically I can do something like dot preview dot okay, heading should be the first. Okay, this should be dot button section. Now this is just basically emmet shortcode, VS Code, in VS Code. In case you need me to actually do a tutorial on VS Code, emmet, and shortcuts, and everything you need to know to make your coding live very fast and easier, you can just drop a comment below, and then I'll work on it and get back to you. Okay, so let's continue. We have the heading, and in the heading we're going to have, let's see, an h1 tag, which is going to say something like file upload preview. I think that works fine. And then we're going to have a paragraph tag, which is going to say upload a file to continue. Okay, I think that's done. All right, and then what about inside the preview? We're going to, first thing we're going to have is, I'm going to add a div, and then I'm going to add an image. Okay, the XRC is going to be images slash, okay, placeholder image dot png, and then I'm going to add a class to it, and the class is going to be preview image. Okay, and then beneath here I'm going to add a paragraph, and then inside is going to have a span. Okay, so basically a paragraph with two spans in between, and then I'm just going to add this dash to demarcate, and then the first one is going to have file name dot extension, and then the second one is going to have, let's see, file size. Okay, all right, let's move on. And then the third one, we're going to have the button section. Now, if you remember from the last tutorial I did, I also made use of this class button section, and then we have something like div, and then we're going to have the class of, let's see, let's add class of button group. Okay, that works fine. And then, okay, I'm going to close that. Okay, and then we're going to have a label. Now the label is going to have, let's see, a span, and then of upload file, and then we're going to have an icon. So an icon, a font also icon. Okay, and let's see, we're going to have our inputs. Okay, and then the ID, we're going to change the ID to input one, and then this will also reference this, which will be input one. Okay, all right, that works fine. And then we're now going to have a button, and the button is going to have a span. Let's see, and then it's going to have clear, and also here it's going to have an icon. Okay, and then this button, we're going to give it a class of clear button. Okay, I think that looks pretty much okay to me. That looks pretty much okay to me. All right, now let's start our live server. Okay, so we can see our files right here, but they are not looking as good as we want it. So let's dive into the CSS. Now, the first thing is I want to make use of a custom font. So I'm just going to paste the link. Okay, so we have our custom font right here. Okay, now let's continue. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is the body. I'm going to apply our font, and then I'm going to say font family, and then let's see, font family, I'm going to use, let's see, okay, I can use this, and then, but I'm going to use Ko first, so the others will be more of fallback font, and then I'm going to add a padding of 40 pixels and 0 pixels. Okay, this is to add a bit of space up and down here. Okay, so the next thing is our app, that is this div which has everything, which contains everything, we're going to add a bit of border to it. So I'm going to say something like, okay, border. I'm going to use the shorthand, and then which is I'm going to use 2 pixels solid, and then e. Okay, so let's save that, and now we can see the border around it. Okay, let's continue. And then the max width is going to be, let's see, 1000 pixels, and then it's going to have a margin of auto, and then it's going to have a padding of 20 pixels. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, looking better. And then we're going to come to the heading, and then for the heading I'm going to add text align, center, and then I'm going to add margin bottom to add a bit of margin to the bottom, and then we're going to add 10 pixels. Okay, let's see. All right, that is working well. And then we're going to target the heading. We have h1 tag inside, and then we have dot heading, and then we have paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to give it margin of 0 pixels. Now before I save that, you will notice that we have some bits of spaces right here. Now if I should inspect this, and I hover on this, we're going to see some bit of margin. Now in case you don't understand what these yellow lines mean, I have a tutorial on using the developer tools, Mozilla and Chrome developer tools, so we will help you understand, okay, when a padding or properties, specific properties have been applied, and help you when you're writing your codes. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm going to remove the margin that we have here. So that's basically what this line of code is. If I should save, and then we are going to say, okay, that works fine. All right, so now let's come heading, and then h1 itself. We're going to do, okay, font size. I think I want it to be 1.5. No, 1.8 should be okay. And then I'm going to add a bit of margin bottom, and then let's say 5 pixels. Okay, let's save that. All right, that looks fine, that looks good. And then we're going to the preview, that is the preview section right here. So we also want everything to be centralized. Okay, so we're going to have margin auto, and then we're going to have text align, and then center. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, that's looking better. All right, so then dot preview, I'm going to take in the image preview, and then I'm going to add a width of 450 pixels, and then height of auto for responsiveness, and then box shadow. Now the value I'm just going to add, I actually got it from Tailwind CSS, their shadow LG class. So I'm just going to type it 0, then 10 pixels, 15 pixels, minus 3 pixels. Then we're going to RGB, then 00, okay, sorry, 000, then divided by 0.1. And then the second value is going to be, let's just copy this and then paste it here. So the second value is going to be 0, the 4 pixels instead, and let's reduce this to 6 pixels, and then this should be minus 4. Okay, let's save and let's see what we have. Okay, sorry, this shouldn't have, okay, That was my bad. Okay, let's see. How about now? Okay, so we can see our shadow effects looking all nice and cool. All right, so let's move on. Now we're going to go to the button section. And then the button section, I'm going to have display is going to be flex. Okay, and then we're going to have the flex direction is going to be row, which is default anyway. Now I'm going to add the justify content to center to make sure everything aligns to the center, and then align items to center also. All right, so we can see this working fine. Okay, and then button section, then basically the style. This is the section where we use the style we used in the last tutorial. And then I'm going to do font size, and then I'm going to say 1.3 m. Okay, cursor pointer, and then okay, display, and then block. Okay, and then the color, we want it to be white. Then padding, and then we have 10 pixels for up, top and bottom, and then 30 pixels for left and right. And then border radius, okay, we're going to have 5 pixels. And then margin, we're going to have 10 pixels, 0 pixels. And then transition, we're going to have transition for in case when we over, we're going to have all 0.3 seconds. And then ease, or let's use ease in out, anyone works. Okay, that works fine. And then button section, and then inputs, and then we're going to say display none, and then we're going to say something like the button section, then label over. Okay, then we're going to have background color, and then I'm going to have this 11142E. Okay, we didn't add the default state, so let's duplicate that. And then I'm going to add 1823550. Okay, so let's save that and let's see what we have. All right, now this is looking fine. Now we haven't styled this, so to avoid repetition, which is very bad, a bad practice, so I'm just going to add the clear button, the clear button class, which you have here. So that's basically what I added there. Okay, so the clear button also, we have all of these properties, and then we are now going to add for clear button specifically, and then we're going to have dots clear button, and then we're going to have the background color is going to be okay D41. Okay, that works fine, just a red color. All right, and then we're going to have border 0 to remove the default border, and then we're going to have display, I want it to be inline flex. Okay, display inline flex, and then we're going to have align items, then center. All right, let's look at that. All right, that's looking fine, except we need a bit of space between this element, and these two buttons also. All right, so let's see how we are doing that. I'm going to make use of a property named gap. So I'm going to add gap of 10 pixels for this, and also I'm coming here button section and adding a gap. I'm adding a gap of 20 pixels here. So let's see what that does. That basically gap, we see it had a gap of 20 pixels here, and also between this pan and this icon here, it added a gap of 10 pixels. So that's better. And now we should set our overstates. So basically I'm going to come here and then clear, then over, and then we're going to have background color, and then we're going to have, let's see, all right, so let's see if that works fine now. All right, looking good, looking sleek. Nice. Well done, maestro. All right, so we have done that. Now let's actually start working on functionality. Now, to be sure that our JavaScript file is working, I'm going to just console.log working. Okay, so let's check our console, and if we see that it works, okay, good, great. Now we can get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to actually do is, now I'm going to select some elements from the DOM. Okay, so I'm going to say const, then file input element equals to document dot query selector, and then I'm going to select input, oh sorry, input, then we're going to use the id input 1. All right, that works fine. So let me just make a quick duplicate and edit. Okay, so we are going to select the clear button also, and then for the clear button, how do we select, which CSS selector do we use? We can just use dot clear button. Okay, that works fine. And then the image preview also, that is for the image element, image preview. So I'm going to change this. The selector will be preview, like we used for the class preview image. Okay, let's see if that does work so far. Let's see if we're right. Okay, preview image. Okay, that's right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is the preview description. So we're going to just basically select the p tag, the span here. Oh, we haven't added a class. Okay, class equals to, let's see, preview description. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, and then I'm also going to, oh sorry, that was the wrong place. Okay, so it's supposed to be here, class equals this, and then also class, please make sure you don't make the same mistake I did, equals preview, and this is going to be size. Okay, so let's save that, and then change these, and then also change this, and then this is going to be size instead. Okay, so preview size. All right, now just to see if some of these elements are working, so let me just console dot log, and then I do something like file input element, for example, and then I save. It should give me an element. It should return that particular element, the input file. So if I should come here and then I come to my console, we should see this. And if I should right click and reveal in inspector, it should basically show me where it is located in my HTML file. And for some reason our default image is not loading. Let's see. Okay, so we basically see that works. Now though it's not basically showing, it's not highlighting as other element, because we've hidden it, we've added a display of none. All right, that works. So basically when we want all this functionality to happen is when a file has been uploaded. Now for that, we have an event listener we're going to attach to it. So we're going to say something like file input element dot add event listener. So the name of the event we want to add is change. So that basically means on change, as something change, basically when the file a file gets uploaded, maybe the value or the files gets changed, we want this particular function to run. So I'm going to put in run a function. You can also define your function up here and then pass it here. That works perfectly, that's fine. But I'm just going to use an arrow function straight away here, and then I'm going to do this. All right, so though we might not make use of this event object, but all right, let's just put it there. So that is on change, we want to console.log. Now three things I want us to do, I want us to try. Now let's try this. Console.log diff element itself, and then console.log this element, then dot value. Remember, whenever we work with form normally, we do have a value. Okay, and then the last thing is dot files, since we are working with files. So let's try those three things and let's see what happens. All right, so let's upload a file and then we click on this. Now for the first thing, it's logged to the console. For the first output, we can see it's logged out this particular element, and then we can see all the DOM properties and everything and everything and everything. Okay, now we can see secondly, it gave us this. When we use dot value, it gave us c/fake/cute photos. Okay, but we're able to get the name. But then the third thing I want us to now look is this particular array it returns. Okay, inside of it we have an object, just one item, which is an object. Now inside of it we have last modified, we have the name, we have the size, and we have the type. We have the type. Now basically this has given us basically what we need, the essential things we actually need. Okay, so let's continue. So that means out of everything that we just logged to the console, the basic thing that is of value to us is just basically these files. Now in HTML input file can upload multiple files, and that is why we see we have an array. So if maybe you allowed it, you are passing the attribute and then you upload various files, now it's going to give you an object of the different files you've uploaded. So now that's the first step. Now I'm just going to do something to make it better. So I'm going to create a variable and say objects let's say file object is going to be equals to, so I'm just going to copy this. Now we don't need the whole array, so we only need the first element. So I'm just going to select the element like so. Okay, and then let's save. It should still work fine. Okay, so let's come here and then let's upload. We should still have the same thing. All right, now we can see it here. That's nice. All right, now another thing I want to introduce you to, you might not know before, is what we call blob URL. Now you might look at, okay, what if we want to update this particular image? What if we want to update it? We want it to show. Now there is no information right here that can give us how to do that. That is where we are now going to make use of something called object URL. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const object URL is going to be equal to URL dot create object URL. Now this takes in an object, and the object that we need, the specific format, has already been given to us using this particular file object. So I'm just going to paste this here, and then this should be, I didn't spell that right. Okay, so and then after that I'm going to console.log then the object URL. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so if I should click on this and upload this, now we see we have our previous object that we got, and then we have this URL, the blob URL. Now if I should copy it and then I paste it here, fine, nice, great, we can see the preview of our image right here. What if I create, let's say I create open another file. Okay, it also creates this particular blob URL. Okay, now one thing you should note is this is basically this blob URL works basically in the browser. It's a way for you to preview and for the browser to actually have access and open that particular file. And you might have noticed it or seen it but not known it, but seen it in the various web application that deals with, okay, preview of images in your browser and all of that, and loading it from your interaction and all of that. And even in big applications like Figma, I've noticed it a lot of time. Maybe when you want to export a particular thing out, and then it tells you that, okay, you are downloading or from blob URL from blob etc etc. Now that's basically what the blob URL does. So it's basically in the exists in the browser. So let's continue. Let's see. So now we basically have everything that we need. Now we have the file name right here. We have the last modified, we have the size, and we have the type, which it gives us. Okay, that's fine. That's well. Now it's now time to update the DOM. Now I'm going to create a function that is going to take care of that separately. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function which is going to be change preview on upload. And this is going to be an arrow function which is going to take in some parameters, but we won't worry about that. We'll sort it out in a moment. Okay, so the first parameter is the file name. We need to know the file name to update it right here under the previous description here. And then what is the next? The next is going to be the file type. Okay, and then the next is going to be the file size, and then we're going to have the preview of blob URL, preview URL. So now notice something. Now let's clear this. When we upload, we have this type image slash JPEG. Now if I should upload, let's say, something else that um isn't even a JPEG, it gives us image as long as it recognizes it as a valid image type. Okay, it gives us image. But if we upload something else that isn't an image, the type would either show, or it will either give us the type, the file type, or it will give us an empty string like we have here. So that's basically the information we need. We are going to run an if statement here, and then we're going to say if file type dot includes, so if it includes the string image, and then what we want you to do is you're going to take the image preview, then we're going to use a DOM method. We're going to set attributes, and then what's the attribute we want to set? That is the src, and then we want to set it to the preview URL. That's that. Now if it's not, then we're going to do an else check. Now you can have various conditionals to check, okay, if it's video you should put a placeholder for video or do something else, but this is as simple as it gets, so just making it very simple. And then we can do image preview, and then dot set attribute, and then we're going to have src, and then we want it to be images. Okay, this here, images slash placeholder file dot png. All right, so let's try that and let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm just going to come here and upload this file and let's see. Okay, we aren't calling the function. Sorry, rookie mistake. All right, so I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to call the function, and then I'm going to pass in the file name. So the file name is just basically going to be object URL dot, okay, let's check here. Object URL dot name, we have dot name, and then object URL dot size, and then we're going to have object URL dot, oh, that use object URL, this should be file object. We want the file object. Okay, file object dot size, and then file object dot, okay, this should be size and this should be type. Then this should be object URL, which is the preview URL. Okay, that works fine. But to actually make this better, I think it will be better with the structure, the object, but we'll get back to that shortly. Okay, so let's see. Let me clear that up, and then I'm going to upload this. And that's not working. All right, let's look at what went wrong again. Let's look at what went wrong. Okay, so we have this here. Okay, I think the issue was with the live server. Let's see if it works fine. Okay, so let's see, I upload this, and then boom, we see this is looking good. All right, so we see that our code is working. So how about we finish it up? Then the next thing is we want this preview description. So preview description does text content is going to be equal to file name. Okay, and then the preview size equals to file size. Okay, let's save that, and then let's go again, and I upload this. Okay, preview description is null. All right, so let's see, we have an issue with the preview description. Okay, dot text content. Okay, preview description. Oh, this should be dots. Oh, sorry, that was invalid DOM selection and reference error. Okay, so let's do that again, and then all right. Now, but we can see the number this is returning, it's kind of not what we expect. Now that's because this is in bytes. So basically what I'm just going to do is convert it to kilobytes. So that's, this is just going to be, going to use template string, going to be file size, then divided by 104, and then this is going to be kilobytes in front of it. All right, let's test that out now. Okay, so we can see we have these something something kilobytes. Now let's actually use a method. So I'm just going to wrap it inside of a method math.round, which we round it off, math.round. All right, So that should work fine now. And then we can see 304 kilobytes. Now, two things though. Number one, this isn't working yet. And number two, once that whenever we don't have a file, this should be hidden. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to our CSS here, and then this inline flex, I'm going to change it to none. So at first it would be hidden, and then whenever the file is changed, and then there is going to be DOM updates, DOM updates, and then we're just going to say declare button dot style dot display dot style dot display is then going to be equals to inline flex. So let's test that out and let's see how that works. Okay, so basically it's not showing right now, but if I should come and I should upload, let's say this for example, and then we can see it works fine. All right, that's wonderful, that's great. All right, so just one more thing left, and which is we attach event button itself. So I'm just going to come down here, and I'm going to attach an event listener to it, and this is going to be dot add event listener, and this is going to be a click event. So and then it's going to take in a callback function. And so what are we going to have here now? Basically whenever we click on it, we want the first thing we want is the image preview. Then want to set attributes. That is, we want to clear everything. We want to set attributes, and then src. Okay, okay, src, and we want it to be images slash place order image dot png. All right, that's the first thing. And then we want preview description dot text content, we want it to be equals to empty. And then we want also the preview size, okay, the text content to be empty, and then we want the clear button to also be hidden. Dot style dot display will then be equal to none. So let's now test and let's see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to come here, let's close this. All right, so upload a file and then upload this. All right, this works. Now if I click on this, this is going to clear, and we can see it works perfectly, it works fine. All right, let's try this. All right, so we can see our mini app works fine. So if you got to this particular point, then congratulations and well done. Now as always, this the codes for this would be uploaded onto a GitHub repo, which I will put the link in the description below. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye.